Dog and pony show day, Dave.
A little bit.
We're gonna do a little demonstration with the Rimguard here. We've got our scales, got a load on the front of the tractor, we've got ballast we're gonna put on the 3-point hitch, then we're gonna put Rimguard in the tires.
And hopefully she won't stand the rear end up anymore.
Right. If Dave hops on the front right now, we can get the rear off the ground. Let's get started. So what we're going to do is show the total weights of everything and show how it's distributed front to rear. The total weight of the tractor without a bucket, now that's the only thing I don't have that would be standard, but tractor and loader, no bucket, is 5420. Okay, 5420, 5430, something like that. The front axle and the rear axle weights are shown right here, and the percentage that's on each one is shown here as well. I looked at the spec sheet. I saw that the bucket weight here is 319 pounds. Now we're adding a load to the front end. There's 1,200 pounds of weight plus the bracket, adapters, and the fork frame.
Give it a little lift. I'm gonna lock it back down.
Think of this as 2/3 of a bucket full of rocks or dirt. This is the configuration that most new tractor owners will have. Not weights on the front, but they'll have a bucket full, okay? No rear ballast, no rim guard. It's just, I'm gonna go use the tractor as it is. The total weight here in that configuration is 6,930 pounds. Here's the front axle weight, here's the rear axle weight. Notice how much of it is shifted to the front axle. A bucket and 1,200 pounds of payload adds 3,000 pounds to the front axle. The rear axle has only 1,000 pounds, 1050, 5880 on the front axle. Okay, so how can this possibly be good on your front axle, right? If you look at the ratings on these, Neil Messick's done a video talking about the front axle ratings. I've talked about it some with the Deere machines. The numbers we see are nowhere near 5880, let's just put it that way. I don't know about the Yanmar, I have not seen an axle rating on this one, but the point is, that's a lot of weight just on that front axle. Now, we have only 1,050 pounds on the rear axle. Okay, so me and Dave are here. That adds probably about 150 pounds for me and about 350 for Dave.
That's fair, I'll give you that. I think that weight still comes out to right.
The total weight here is 7,480, and what you're gonna see is that actually decreased the weight on the rear and added even more than the sum of Dave and I's weight on the front axle.
Correct.
With Dave and I both on, 7,490 pounds, 7,480, 7,000 of that on the front axle. Now, the reason it was relevant to put Dave and I up there is we only have about 1,300 pounds of weight. This thing will load more than that, right?
2,200 load capacity.
2,000, 2,200, somewhere in there,
depending on where it's at on the forks or the bucket or whatever.
Yeah. Tractor loader lift capacities at full height are much less than the lift capacity at ground level. If you want to know how much your loader will lift at ground level, find the breakout force 500 millimeters forward of the pivot pins. For this tractor, that's over 3,000 pounds. So our tests are well under the maximum. So we have only 450 pounds. It is so light now that Kenton was able to pick up the rear end with Dave and I on it. Is that right, Kenton?
I think so, yes.
You want to try it?
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Stronger than I.
Either you guys are really strong or this tractor is tipsy configured like this, right? You haven't seen Kenton in a long time, but he still laughs. He's still got... Chris from Rimguard is joining us today.
Hello.
You know what we need? We need some rear ballast. Let's try 3-point hitch only ballast right now.
Featuring the heavy hitch.
Oh.
7,600 pounds total when we add this rear ballast. We should see a little bit more of it come to the rear axle now. Here's the percentages. We'll show the front on this side now and the rear on this side.
Adding 660 pounds of ballast increased the rear axle weight by 1,000 pounds and decreased the front by 440. Now I'm backing off the scales and we'll start putting the rim guard in.
Now this stem, this is that bowl remover. Thread up onto it, and you really got to push up against it to de-thread that first part of the valve stem.
Okay, come out.
Yep, and then you got to pull it snug back.
This is a training for the local dealer. This is the very first time they've put rim guard in a tire.
Yeah. Yeah, now the bore should be removed and it's back in this chamber, so now the fluid can fill.
There you go.
There it goes. It filled that too.
You'll get a few few drips.
Oh yeah. It's not diesel. What?
That's probably good. That's good. That's good.
Oh, huff and puff.
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have rear ballast on. We do have the rim guard in. We've added roughly 1,000 pounds to the rear end. 8,020 pounds total, distributed as follows. This much in the front, this much in the rear. We'll show you the percentage.
Looking closer, it was 1,090 pounds of rim guard, increasing rear axle by 1,020 and front axle, can't explain this, but increased by 70 pounds. Possibly a variance of the scale we're using, but I'm not sure.
Next up is our final and operational configuration. 8,700 pounds total now with the 3-point ballast, rim guard, and our front load. With both of our ballasts together, we've added 2,000 pounds to the rear axle. Okay, that's going to give us a lot more stability. We've decreased the front axle by 300 pounds, if I look correctly. Here's the ratio of the front to rear axle for this configuration. And now here's the ratios and weights for all the different configurations we've gone through. I really think this helps to illustrate the value of rear ballast, both on the axle, as in fluid or wheel weights. See, that's one more thing we can do is wheel weights on these rims, as well as 3-point hitch ballast. With this particular tractor, we could probably use a little bit more 3-point ballast. Folks, this is Brian McGavick from McGavick Outdoor Power here in Noblesville, Indiana. And you're a new Yanmar dealer.
I am a new Yanmar dealer.
I'm excited about this Yanmar. I got 10 hours on it. Yeah, you're not getting it back. I can promise you that.
We've known Yanmar for a lot of years through some other relationships, and this is new for this location, this territory, and we believe in it. It's a good product. It's not new. The branding has a little bit of work to do as far as rebranding, I guess.
Yeah, that's the weak spot.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty open. The weak spot has been the lack of marketing, the lack of good dealer support. And I can just tell you, I'm a lot more comfortable now because, you know, we looked several years ago and there were no dealers around. And now that you guys are a dealer, well, that increases my comfort level dramatically.
Absolutely. We're excited about it. And dealer support is certainly critical.
Yeah.
When there is an issue, a question, or a problem, you got to know where to go.
You really do. I mean, this is not like a car where you drive it off the lot and you never come back. We need support from our dealers. That's just the way it is with tractors and any outdoor power equipment.
Yep, absolutely.
And this is Chris from Rimguard.
Hello?
Now, why are you here?
Well, you needed weight on the rear end, so we provided the product for you and we're happy to do that.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Tell me about Rimguard.
Well, Rimguard, we've got a dealer network throughout North America. We're up to 1,400 locations servicing tractor owners who need weight on the rear end.
Yeah.
Liquid ballast is a cost-effective way to do that. Our product weighs 11 pounds, just about 11 pounds per gallon. So when you're limited to the space of the tire, you want the densest material in there. And we're the heaviest and also non-corrosive while being completely safe for your crops and livestock.
Okay, so if it spills and my cat eats it, is there going to be a problem?
No, not at all. In fact, we've heard stories of livestock licking the valve stems after it's been in installed. There's some nutritional value there for them. So,
Is it going to freeze?
Not till minus 35 degrees.
Don't worry, I'll be frozen long before then.
Yeah, right.
So I won't need
You've
that.
got a cab though. That's kind of
That's
nice.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. This has been a great day. I can tell you guys that the fish here was phenomenal, and it was free. Well, it was free to me, not free to him.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load.
You know, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your father-in-law watching him run your equipment. That first one you did and seeing him.
I was serious about that. Dave and me were jockeying for position. Dave said, I actually wore my red flannel. You know, he's almost Al Borland, you know. He doesn't even know Al Borland, but I wore my red flannel. And then Bobby comes out there barely walking with his Yanmar hat, and we're like, we lose.